Welcome to episode number 184 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We're recording November the 20th, 2022. My name is Eric, host of the show, based in Southern Ontario, hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator, and of course, computer geek. As a first responder, witnessed an over-reliance on emergency services during major events and started a small preparedness company to help people get better prepared for at least 72 hours, if not longer.
My name is Alan. This week, my name is Ian.
Oof. Yes, your camera's on this week.
Yeah, I'm an absentee prepper on Vancouver Island, not Southern Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
But are you in Southern Ontario right now?
No.
Are you sure?
Okay.
sure
I'm Jeff.
that,
I'm
Alan?
based in Central Ontario. I'm a target shooter, ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and weather nerd.
I'm Greg. I'm in Southeast Georgia, former U.S. Army infantryman, whiskey enthusiast.
My name is Pierre. I'm a tactical beard owner. I make t-shirts. I don't like government, and I like whiskey.
And if you want to help to support the show and keep the Canadian Prepper Podcast on the air, buy some swag. We have both the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt and the Tactical Velcro patch. You can find them both at prepperpodcast.ca. All proceeds help keep the lights on and the backup generator fueled.
If you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes, like us on Facebook, and submit a review on iTunes. Also, we want your feedback. Your hate or suggestions only make us stronger. You can email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
All right, so we've got some festive content for you in this episode. We're going to start off, as usual, with some recent news articles. Then we're going to update you on our personal preps. Then we're going to get into the main topic, Christmas gift ideas for your special prepper. Let's move into the news, shall we?
All right. Are you getting an echo on your microphone too?
Nope.
No.
Nope. All right. Well, this is my bad internet then. Out here on Vancouver Island, not Southern Ontario. All right. So we have a diesel shortage. I don't know if you guys noticed, but yes, it's a thing. And because of the diesel shortage, the price has gone up. And lo and behold, the Calgary Herald tells us that it's going to put pressure on cost of living and make everything more expensive. Who would have seen that coming?
Wait a minute.
No.
No.
Well, I know I mentioned it on the last, I believe the last podcast episode that New Brunswick was over $3 a liter for diesel now.
Yeah, I mean, like, who would have thought that since everything is transported by rail or trucks, all of which use diesel, that it would, they'd pass on the savings to the consumer, so to speak. So, I mean, like, I don't know how this is even news, but
That's not how it works. Just print more money. We'll be fine.
that's right. But then why pay tax? Anyway,
That's for a whole nother episode.
that's for a different podcast.
I was just about to say,
Yeah,
Yep,
we should
that's
just
more
put more
like-
trust. Yeah, put more trust in the system.
That's
it'll
right.
help.
Also, I guess it's more of your guys' news, but it's still, we're certainly hearing about it out here. I guess you guys got like a real, not an internet 72 inches, but like real 72 inches of snow out there. And snow squalls in Southern Ontario. So I guess it's a thing out there, isn't it?
There's a lot of snow here right now. Yep. Got the snowblower out
and
today.
it all literally happened within, I went to bed last night, a little after midnight, and it had just started to snow and got up this morning and I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, we got about 7 or 8 inches overnight here.
Yeah, because they're saying like some parts of like Barrie, of course, up to 50 centimeters depending on the area. I mean, like as you know, when it blow off of the Georgian Bay there, it could be 0 to 50. Who knows, right? But
Yep.
Yeah, so somebody in Owen Sound posted said they had 18 inches.
jeez,
Wow.
that's like that much. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
It's 50 degrees here in
I'm
Georgia.
waiting for this to go sideways.
Yeah,
but
anyways,
also
that's all I.
in Eastern Ontario, we only got like 1.5 inches.
There you
Well, when you say that on the internet, it's a lot more.
go. Yeah, that's right. You didn't even call it snow. You didn't even call it Snowmageddon. I mean, come
Nope.
on.
Nope.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, we're 50 degrees here in Georgia. I'm out.
And
Yeah, Greg's just trying to get kicked off. I've got
Apparently he just needs socks.
apparently. Yep. Apparently. I've got a news article here from Global. Stole it from Alan, who did put some notes in the show notes here, but then decided to disappear when Ian said he was going to show up. Just talks about a shooting in a nightclub again. So just a reminder to keep your head on a swivel when you're out and about. This was out in Colorado, so not Canada, but still just a good reminder that if you're going to be out and about, to keep your eyes open and pay attention to your surroundings. You never know what could happen.
If that was in a nightclub, I just want to point out that was a gun-free zone. Just want to
Supposedly,
throw that
yes.
out there.
I also want to point out that when you interact with people, bad stuff can happen, and
Yeah, that's wild.
would make you not be in that situation. But still,
The best idea is to avoid people.
yes,
That makes sense.
Personally, I hate
really agree.
people. So
That's why I adopted a horse.
there you go.
yeah.
That's what I've got.
I just kind of threw this one in from the Washington Post. I'm sure everybody's heard about it, that 2 stray missiles ended up landing in Poland. They killed 2 people in Poland, which is a NATO country. Obviously, they're saying now that it appeared, well, not appeared. Everybody is saying, except Zelensky, that it was an accident and it was a Ukrainian anti-air or anti-missile defense system. He still insists it wasn't them, even though all of the evidence points to that. But I'm just kind of pointing at that to kind of throw it out there. Anybody in the panel or whatever to say, was it really an accident? And I just think we were possibly really close to this going really bad in a hurry, because when it originally came out, there was a lot of, the Russians did it. We got to bomb them. So really, how close were we to an all-out war?
Well, the worst part is
drop of missiles.
Well, not only that, but of course, if you're in Ukraine, Russia's like this way and Poland's that way. So if they were trying to shoot down a Russian missile, even, they kind of really had some like 90-degree off bad aim. And the grown-ups in the room, of course, de-escalated right away and said, no, it's okay. It was an accidental, it was a Ukrainian thing. Let's just all calm down. And there's Zelensky still going, no, it was definitely the Russians. We need to amp things up a bit. It's like, what, dude? What are you doing? Like, I don't know. He's just bound and determined to take this to level 11 Spinal Tap.
Well, and one of the other things that I tried to find the ad or the thing and I couldn't find it, but kind of basically the U.S. is sort of saying, yeah, we're starting to run out of stuff to give to Ukraine. Well, wait a minute, then aren't you supposed to be able to protect yourself and have enough stuff to defend yourself from, if you're giving everything away, how you defend yourself?
Yeah, so
I don't know, Greg, would you know better?
I actually got in trouble when I was still enlisted for my comments, because the National Guard from my hometown in Newport, Vermont, they had sent, they were sending over ACHs, they were sending over, body armor, they were sending over all kinds of stuff. And from the police department, from the National Guard, and I'm like, listen, why? There's literally no reason. I mean, I get the reasoning, their thought process behind it anyway, but I'm not putting my people at risk for strangers. That's just not what I'm gonna do, not personally. But I'm not a politician, so I care about my team.
Well, I think it's interesting the fact that like the Javelin missile system. I think they said they can produce, I don't know, was it 1,000 a year, and they gave away 7,000. I think so far to Ukraine. So I mean, they actually have to have full flat out production for the next 7 years, even to make up what they just gave away.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can understand if you're like giving them away at your production rate or something to not deplete your own resources or whatever. But now they're like giving away like the next bunch of years in production for all sorts of stuff, like 155 howitzer shells and everything else. They're like just drained everything. I was like, what are you doing? Like, it's just a dumb move.
Yeah, and I mean, I can understand, if you're looking at it like, Yeah, that's your allies and everything. I'm not giving them javelins. Like, you need small arms, brother. We got a surplus of M4s. All right, that's what I can give you. We got some M500s, your Mossberg 500s. Like, that's what I can give you. Okay, some old Berettas, like with a drop leg holster. That's what you're getting. Good luck. But I'm not giving you the stuff that we use. I mean, best of luck. Like, but no, I'm not depleting my resources for your fight. I mean,
Yeah, but
Interesting.
then on the flip side, I think Ian was just going to say the exact comment that Rods of God there said is, isn't this a way to contain the war within Ukraine instead of having it spreading out and becoming much more of a problem?
But at that point, you're also, if it does go sideways and it does go outside of that containment area that you're planning, and you've depleted most of your stock, you're leaving yourself.
Well, so
more
now
vulnerable.
China's still fully armed. They want Taiwan, and now the U.S. doesn't have any extra bullets left. So what do you, like, you're just
You know,
begging for them
like-
to escalate at
Yeah.
that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And anyways, I just put it out there for thought that, like I said, I think we were much closer to a much more bigger conflict than we needed to
Yeah.
be. And who knows if somebody would have pushed the button and 2 days later they said, "Oh, it was just an accident."
yeah,
Well,
boys
a little
are
too
face
late
red.
now. Yeah.
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 Anyway,
Oh, Eric's gone. So let's go on to what we've done lately for prep. So I'm up first. I did a little bit of food prep. As everybody knows, I got a canner. So I tested it out, did a couple small test cans or jars and whatever, and everything seemed to work out. So knock on wood, I'll start doing a bit more canning, see what I can do and not cause botulism and kill myself and whatever. And I did a bit more work on my Faraday box that I've been seriously lagging on, and I'm hoping to kind of have that wrapped up and put into the garage and ready to go, hopefully by the end of the month if I can.
Right. I think I'm back. My internet completely bogged out there.
You are back.
We hear you.
Excellent. Good. Yes, we're at preps, I take it.
for you,
Yes.
actually.
Excellent.
For you,
Cool.
actually.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect time to come back. Look at that. So, funnily enough, with the internet disappearing there on me, added to my cybersecurity, deployed YubiKeys into everything. So these little guys here. So I got those all rolled out and set up for the most part. You might want to look at those, Pierre, because I know that cyber episode freaked you out.
Yeah, but I'm even more confused at this key. Okay, no, we'll talk after.
Yeah, we'll talk
'Cause you
after.
can go on the
but
whole
yeah.
side. Yeah, we'll talk after.
Oh yeah. Moved password managers, so moved over to Bitwarden. I think I talked about that as well. So from LastPass over to Bitwarden, and it started to do a yearly password rotation for all the sites that I use. On the ham radio nerd side of things, activated a Parks on the Air park that had never had an activation before. So an activation is going out to a park on the list of parks and getting at least 10 contacts with your radio. So I was able to get that done. Furthest distance I got was Spain. So I was pretty happy with that. And literally all it was a wire thrown up in a tree. I did it really, really quick because I just wanted to get in, get the park activated and get out. So yeah, I was pretty happy with
where was the
that.
park, Eric?
So just on the side of Highway 11 in by South River. So it was Park Victor Echo 1489. So it literally butts up against the west side of the park, butts up against Highway 11. So I was able to just pull off I know, right? So I was able to just pull off the highway there and throw the antenna up in the tree, and away we go. So that was pretty good.
Cool.
And then first shipment of EMP Shield devices arrived. So pretty excited about that. Got a couple of them slotted to get installed here and have sent a couple off to panelists that wanted them as well. So it's going to be good to test that out and see how they work.
Are you going to be selling those as well?
Yep. Yeah, they're already up on the Rapid Survival website.
Ooh.
So yeah, good to go there. And
I would rather not have to test them out to make sure they work, but We'll,
well,
we'll have them there to
at least they'll be installed and set up.
installed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so
so-
far, I've been quite happy with them.
Do
I
we
know
just
you're
tell
not-
everybody to buy those and like the show's done?
That was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. There's your stocking stuffers. I will bring this episode to an end. I'll even throw a coupon code out there for the purchase. And
Oh, come on. We haven't done CO or an CGN deal yet. Come on.
Okay.
I got
Or
a can
can
opener.
opener.
You
I'll
guys-
hold off then. I'll hold
You
off.
didn't give me a chance to talk yet. That's why. Actually, I have a hand radio question, Eric.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
Let's go.
Yeah. So the Parks on the Air thing. How do you guys actually designate like the identifier for a park, and what's the end game with this Parks on the Air thing? Is like, are you just trying to make contacts? Is there some sort of contest involved, or how does this work?
Okay, so Parks on the Air, they designate the different parks. So in the States, it's usually a state or like a federal park. In Canada, most of them are all provincial parks. They're all designated by a mapping team that's run it's all a volunteer process.
Okay.
So there's volunteer folks at Parks on the Air that will map out what parks are in the area that they want to put in the system. And then you log into parksontheair.com, make an account, and then you can see all the different parks in and around your area. You can pull up a map and go anywhere you want in the world and see where the parks are. And then it's up to you to see, okay, for example, the VE1489 that I just activated. I had to go to Parks Ontario, see where the boundary lines are for that park. And then I have to ensure that I am myself and all my radio equipment are completely within the bounds of that park, and then set up your radio and then make as many contacts as you can. Minimum requirement to actually activate the park is 10. And then above and beyond that is bonus. And then within that Parks on the Air website, there's a whole bunch of different awards and things that you can receive for doing various things. So it's it all depends on what you kind of want to do with it.
So now I have more questions because I'm more confused.
Okay, this seems to be a simple thing to do. Confuse
Yeah,
you,
no,
that
it
is.
does. It does. Yeah, no, it is. No, it is. Yeah, no, we'll talk after, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I just want to get the basic thing of it because, like, I mean, I just never understood the purpose or the, I guess, enthusiasm for it.
The purpose
It's
is to get
definitely a
nerds
nerd thing.
outside into the park.
Well, it's important to get out of your basement and put down the Xbox,
Yes.
but
Yes.
So
there's that.
another thing though also is for the POTA, the Parks on the Air,
Mhm.
there's also the SOTA, SOTA,
Right.
which is
Yep.
Summits on the Air, which I'm guessing is pretty much the same exact thing.
Yep.
But you're just going on summits.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
that's going to be kind of what I'm also doing when I go on that hike next year. I'm going to try to activate as much as I can or make as many contacts as I can on the side trails and everything of the long trail. I mean, I've got 273 miles to go, so I figured 10 to 20 minutes per each side trail shouldn't
might
set me
even
back
count
too
as
much.
might even count as a POTA as well. A lot of main trails
Yeah.
are parks as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
and then if you really want to throw in the mix, there's IOTA as well, which is Islands on the Air.
ooh,
There's all kinds of them. Yeah.
yeah,
So
See, I didn't know about
one's
that
for you,
one.
Ian.
yeah. So there's only like 30,000 around me. It was kind of like Georgian Bay, same idea, but yeah, actually, that's interesting because I've had someone on the air contact, and I had no idea what he was talking about when he first started talking to me. I was like, okay, cool. Anyway.
That's how I got in the Parks on the Air. I had a contact with somebody calling CQ Parks on the Air. I'm like, I got no idea what this guy's talking about, but hey, I'll answer his call. And then
Yeah.
I got talking, and I then told me about it. I was like, oh, okay. So
I
And
just
then I
kind of
got
got invited out to Fort McAllister here in Georgia, and with a friend of mine. So me and my wife showed up with our dog, and next thing I know, he's like, "Yeah, go ahead and get your license." I was like, "All right," and then I found myself putting a radio that I didn't know how to operate in my truck. So there was that.
and that's how you start.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. As for myself, despite my absence for like 7 or 8 weeks now,
Sorry, who are
Almost.
you?
yeah, almost laughably nothing done on preparedness, which really makes me kind of angry. So I've had to limit myself because I've been away from home a lot to like price shopping online. When I was home, I was able to burn off all the summer wood waste now that it started to rain again, and I wasn't going to burn down the entire forest. So trying to do some online learning actually about with either the Smoking Ape, Josh and Leah there from Ham Radio Crash Course, or a couple of other ones like what's that KOG anyway, KE6OG, whatever the Ask Dave.
Ask Dave. Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, I've been doing a lot of that just because I mean, there's so many aspects to it that you got to learn, and that's like Josh was saying, it's one of the hardest thing to learn versus how to shoot a gun, which you can learn in 15 minutes, right? So, anyway, So other than that, just did some I guess Mylar rice business about a few weeks ago, I think that was, and then as I mentioned to the guys here before the show, I just had to ship a car to Ontario. Unfortunately, they would not let me leave a bunch of stuff in it, so I was limited to emergency equipment, which still not as much as I would have liked. But basically, I have to re-outfit the car when I get to Ontario, so I've been kind of trying to source all that stuff. But that's pretty much it for me.
So for me, I did a little bit of more like food stocking, ammo, of course. Really been focusing on more skill development with just knife making, knife scales, leather work. Did a little bit of vehicle maintenance and been working on my truck loadout. Started messing with my ham radio after having a few issues. Not quite sure 100% what's going on with it, but hopefully we'll be able to get that figured out pretty soon. So that's really all I've done.
There you go. We did a little bit of food rotation and stock up storage. We finally got the camper stored away, thankfully, before the snow. We're doing house cleanup because we have to find all our winter clothes. So finding all that stuff. That was about it. I was out of town a lot last week and crazy hours training with new people at work and everything. So wasn't home often, but we got a little bit of it done.
With the camper, do you have that like stored around on the property, or is it somewhere else?
It's somewhere else. I mean, it's like 11 kilometers from the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, we figured like before the snow shows up, and it was in our driveway. So I'm like, yeah, let's get it out before we get like, for example, the snowfall that just happened in the Toronto area. Didn't want it to be stuck here for the winter and then vehicles on the road and then we're getting tickets or whatever. So yeah, we got it stowed away last week, which also led to another prep. I had to buy more tools because I was an idiot and left tools on the back of my truck and they disappeared.
Oh, that's the worst.
But yeah,
which again reminds you that you should not leave your property, because if you do, you're going to run into people who are generally shitty people, and they're going to steal stuff.
But it was also sort of early on a Sunday, and when we moved it, but yeah, just avoid people.
And there may have been some remnants from the Saturday night before.
Most likely. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's roving gangs of tool thieves just yet, so it's probably some opportunistic guys like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, and it was a few hours between the time that, it was moved and the time where I was like, hey, where is that? So who knows where it is, and whoever grabbed it.
The person that took it knows where it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, they didn't take that 3-amp battery I was worried about. No, they took the 6-amp battery.
Well, of course.
Which obviously costs like 3 times more. So I had to replace some tools.
Three times more for only double the power. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another good prep.
Well, all right. Shall we move into the main topic then? We need each panelist to maybe talk about what they'd like to see in their stocking for Christmas this year, or even just give out some ideas for listeners who have preppers in their lives that don't know what to get them yet.
So the first one you had, Eric, I have a question about.
Yeah, go for it.
So Eric's first item here is a gasifier.
Yes. No, we need to say it. We need someone else to say it, and then a third person, and then maybe Scott will appear. Yeah, gasifier.
Oh,
Gasifier.
There you go.
It didn't work.
Yeah, no Scott.
We tried.
So
we tried.
First of all, how can you fit one of those in your stocking? Just out of curiosity.
It's
a big stocking.
Big stocking.
Oh, I was gonna say,
get a bigger sock, buddy.
I suppose anything will fit if you push hard enough, but
this is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but
or just get the Gasifier's builder Bible there and put that in the stocking.
There's a good idea.
Yeah. So you've kind of put a Gasifier in a stocking, at least instructions on how to make one.
Actually, sorry, I know I haven't touched one, and I don't think you guys have really as well. But I wonder how small of a scale you could go on one of those. Like if you had like two tiny like a 30-pound propane tank on each side, and try to do it. How small you could actually get one of those.
Well, if we had Scott on, I'm sure he could answer that for us.
Oh, well.
But he decided to ditch us.
Maybe some feedback would be nice from Scott.
Yeah,
Anyway.
would be good.
Looks like someone's preps for next week has been selected.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've got on my list here as well, just shameless plug, EMP Shield, just because I'm excited about those showing up. So,
so are these the plug-in ones that go into the cigarette lighter, or the?
No, these are like the wired ones that go into your home electrical panel or your generator panel or your vehicle. So they don't. They're the, I guess, the competitor to EMP Doctor.
Okay.
So yeah. So they're a little bit of a different setup. They don't have like the vehicle one is the box that you wire into your battery in the car, but there's nothing to plug into the cigarette lighter like the EMP Doctor version, like the trap. It's just installed to the battery and then grounded to the chassis of the vehicle. And then the other options they have are all wired into the electrical panels of, like I said, either your generator, your home, or wherever else you're going to install it. So, and then of course knives, more knives.
Yeah,
Anybody mentioned knives yet? Anybody?
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, I was going to mention it anyway in mine, but yeah, the more I light my fire, and not that I'm like I think that more is the world's best or anything, but for the kids and stuff, if you want to give them a first knife, like I'm not saying this is the highest quality knife or whatever, but not only is it a decent knife for the money, but you get the little fire starter in the back of it that comes out, and so now you can release their inner pyro, which is nice, but also get them interested in the idea of having a backup fire starting source, and make them learn how to start a fire with the ferro rod that's built into it. So yeah, for I think the companion's $20, and the Light My Fire is about 35, something like that. Money well spent, and I think the kids have really enjoyed theirs. They've had theirs since they were like 8, and they still got them. So, anyway.
So funny
I'm sure
enough,
we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. Oh, go ahead, Pierre, and we'll do this.
All right. So funny enough, I think it was last year, maybe a year and a half ago. I was walking through Cabela's one day, and they had a knife it was in a polymer steel or whatever. It has a fire starter, but it had paracord for most of the thing. So I bought it for the daughter because it was like $10. And we kind of forgot that we somehow gave it to her, and it ended up in her bedroom until one of my employees showed up on my front deck being like, I hit a turkey, here you go. So she came out and she was like, well, let's go skin it. And I was like, yeah, we should take that out of your room. But yeah. But yeah, no, like absolutely, right? Like, she's shown that she's able to be responsible with it. She doesn't play with it, but
she hasn't lost any fingers yet, so
that's good.
No,
yep.
Exactly, right? So
I've got a question in the live chat in regards to knife sharpeners, which is also something that could be on your list there. But anybody have a favorite type of knife sharpener?
I actually. Sorry, go ahead, Pierre.
No, I got Lansky. Is it Lansky?
Yeah.
That fancy
Lansky
apparatus you put on it. Yeah, that's the fancy one that like I have for at home. Do everything before I go. That Lansky one. By far
it keeps the angles the same all the time, which is nice because it's got like a guide rod system. And Lansky and Smith are the two big two. I think Smith's easier to find in Canada because, well, I guess we don't get the best of everything. And then, if you can find Lansky, great. But if not, the Smiths are pretty much available everywhere. But same idea, diamond sharpeners with guide rods.
Yeah,
I literally just use like wet sanding sandpaper, like a higher grit. Definitely don't hit it with like a 40 or a 36 or nothing, like 400 and 600. Just a little bit of water on it, and I mean, usually you're not going real deep, real hardcore. If you maintain it, you're not going to have to do that. Maybe run it across a strop after you use it, and keep yourself from having to go hard on the sharpeners.
But if you don't have the patience for it, just buy a Dremel.
I got one of those right here.
or a belt sander. A belt sander is just a quick zip on each side.
Yeah.
Done.
Or just a new knife.
No, that's too easy. And Joan does mention that girls don't get knives for Christmas, but they should. Well, that's what I bought my 2 girls for Christmas, was the light my fire. But honestly, yeah, I don't think knives are the domain of strictly dudes. It's the most useful tool I think ever invented by man. So I mean, I think everybody should at least have one on their person at all times. But
I mean,
at this point, it's one of the last things we can still buy.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I built this rifle here behind me with the leather
stop.
sling. I did that one for my wife. That was her Christmas present last year.
But so she's not wrong. You didn't give her a knife. You gave her a gun,
that's true.
not a knife.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't know if I got her one last year or not.
Well,
It's a good question. I should ask her.
oh boy, that's the last time we saw Greg.
Yeah.
Next up on the list, seeds. Easy to fit in the stocking.
Yeah.
Can never go wrong.
What kind of
Especially with
What type of seeds, Eric?
Seeds that let you grow things, which I can't do. Yeah.
I was going to say,
You can't grow
especially with
stuff?
the cost of food now and the whole, the government saying they want to cut back on the fertilization and all that stuff. I think personally, growing your own food is going to be the way to go in the very, very short future.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, of all the shortages to have, we've actually had a shortage of romaine lettuce here in the local Costco. Can't get it. To
Oh,
save
you
your life.
guys too?
We had that a couple years ago.
Yeah, and so
I just bought romaine lettuce. Like it cost me like $9.
yeah, well,
I
there's
was
just
like,
none
we're about to
available
stop
here.
eating salad.
Yeah, like
Not a
there's
switch to spinach.
not available here. Like
No.
you actually like almost zero
Well,
grains available.
I seen a post somewhere, and I can't remember where it was, but I mean it was a big case of romaine lettuce,
Yep.
but it was $139 for this case of romaine lettuce.
Yeah, so
That's crazy. That sounds like somebody's getting robbed.
well, I mean,
They're all
buy,
different.
Yeah, for the
buy a-
lettuce.
buy a packet. But buy a packet of seeds. A packet of seeds is like $1.50.
Yeah.
And you'll get like at least 30 or 40 head out of that. So I mean, that like
Yep.
Jeff was saying, that's just you can't beat those economics. So like, yeah, we've got a greenhouse all built up from last year here. That's going to be our lettuce production facility come springtime. Because I mean, it's silly to spend the money like that on lettuce, which is insane. But also, I was going with the seeds, Eric, because I mean, yeah, there are certain seeds you could use to grow in case of bad times that would be highly barterable items. And you can still legally buy these seeds that, I think you're allowed to have 4 plants of them legally in your house. And I wouldn't use the product myself, but sure we need to like grow plants that create more seeds for that same product. And before you know it, you'll be like,
you've got an endless supply of bartering.
yeah, because I mean, people that use this plant don't like that. The male, is it the male version? I guess no, the female version has whichever one. The one that doesn't create any product for them. The male, yes,
The male.
And so if you're willing to have a couple males and a couple females on your property and create a bunch of seeds, and then people just enjoy the finished product, then you're actually like kind of like a garden king at that point.
And
You got to
also,
be
I don't-
talking about tomatoes.
How did you know?
Clearly.
I mean, like the last few years, I mean, we purchased emergency seed packages that come vacuum sealed, everything wrapped up nicely or whatever. We bought the herb one and the garden one a few years ago, and they have gone up in price. But with how everything is going, I'm sure those seeds are going to skyrocket in the near future. So, like, I would put that at the top of the list for many things because they're going to be gold at some point.
You're unfortunately probably not wrong.
I think we set off some seed autism here. It's pretty good.
Sounds like it. Yep.
That's good.
Moving along the list.
No, actually, Joan mentions
we got
kale
more,
seeds
okay.
too. And kale seeds are interesting. Yeah, like she mentions, they like cool and cold weather. And there's certain vegetables, kale being one of them, that they actually like a frost or two before they actually get harvested because it actually strengthens up the flavor a bit.
Richens.
Yeah, so it does a decent job of it. So like they're late season vegetables for sure, and so you can plant them sooner, harvest them later.
Good to know.
Something to think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else you got?
Right, well, moving along here, I've got solar panels on the list because what prepper doesn't need a good solar panel or 10?
Yeah.
The ones that are cheap.
Is
Well,
there such a thing?
there is actually
Yeah.
if you go to if you go to Canadian Tire, I'm not saying buy those. I'm just saying if you go to Canadian Tire, you know how they have those little special kits like the Coleman kits and stuff.
Yeah.
They have like
Mhm.
a shitty charge controller and a shitty panel and everything else. They actually got an upgraded version of that at Costco that goes on sale every year, and it's like huge value for cash. And if you're only gonna have like one panel, and get your charge controllers from AliExpress, actually works better. But if you had like one panel, one battery, one charge controller. The Costco panels are actually really good price, and you get like 100 watts or something, right? And so as far as just charging your ham radios or your, anything else, your like USB chargeable flashlights or anything else like that, that's the way to go, like totally. So like a solar panel, easy Christmas gift, $100, 150 maybe, you're on your way. So
Nice.
Nice.
Well, what doesn't go well with a solar panel than batteries? It's next on the list. And
Yeah.
if you're looking for something light, a LifePo 4 or something like that, not too heavy.
yeah, so I've heard of these. Are those the lithium-ion ones?
Fantastic.
Aren't they a little
I've got
pricey?
They can be. I've got a battery from EcoWorthy, so it's a Chinese-made battery, but it's the one I use for my Parks on the Air activation. So it's a 20 amp hour battery, light as can be, has worked flawless for me. It's been really, really good. So I've been quite happy with it.
Okay,
It was
so that's
about
the one that
100
you can get,
100 and
like-
change.
Like the crazy deep cycle, heavy duty, but like they're light compared to like car battery. Okay.
Stupid
I
light.
didn't know
You
the
can't
company.
use them as a starting battery, so you can't put them in a car or anything like that. But
No, but just
you can use them
storage
for-
wise, right? Like
They-
they're mostly
they-
deep cycles. They're similar to deep cycles, I guess. You could say,
similar,
like
yeah.
A lot of,
you can
yeah.
you can draw them pretty
Similar,
much right
yeah.
down.
I mean, the setup Eric's got, he's got it inside an ammo box.
I was going to
And
say that they fit in an ammo can is my
They-
next
they
Oh
question.
yeah,
fit in
there's
an ammo
there's
box?
actually tons of room.
and
Yeah.
they're nice and light. And I mean, I know he says it gives 20 amp hours, but I mean, we were out with the ham radio and we were out there for a good 2 or 3 hours, and I don't think
Yep.
the voltage dropped maybe a half a volt, if that.
Yep.
Barely moved.
Okay.
Can you send me or put a link up on the chat there if you don't mind?
I sure can. Yeah, the company name is EcoWorthy. You can get them on Amazon, but I'll dig up a link here and I'll throw it in the live chat for everybody. And so far, their customer service has been fantastic as well. I buggered one up when I was making that that ammo can box. Negative to positive, positive to negative. Oops, battery went pop. I sent them a message and told them what happened. They're like, "Yeah, okay, no problem. New one's in the mail."
Well, you just had to
Oh.
tell them because of the change.
Did you
in
have to
seasons,
send the
you're-
old one?
Nope.
No, so you
See,
can
nope,
bring
they
it
did-
somewhere and get like the deposit money back. So you like made $10.
Oh, there you go.
You just got to tell them because of the change in seasons, you switch the polarity because
Yeah.
cooling
Yeah.
to heating, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Just tell them you were used to Australia stuff where everything's back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, they've been fantastic. So,
Nice.
what else is on the list here? Berkey filters for those of you that have Berkey systems. Why not
Yeah.
throw a set of black filters under the tree?
Or Sawyers if you want some
Or
portable.
Sawyers, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or
It's
light
true.
straws.
I mean,
Or like
well,
straw, yeah.
life straws are problematic for me because they're kind of girthy and my hands aren't big enough. But I know Alan seems to like them. I guess his hands can handle the extra girth. So I guess kind of I guess this direction. Yeah. So I heard he likes the life straws better, but I'm more of a Sawyer guy
Okay, so-
myself.
I've
Cute-
done
cute
really
company,
well
petite,
with not
cheap,
making you
petite.
have to hit the explicit thing, but Ian's taken over
you've done
tonight,
well.
where I'm not holding back anymore.
Okay. Fair game. Yep. Just be you
Okay.
now. Oh, jeez. We already kind of covered off flint and fire starters with the Mora knives there, but
But on that
an
note, go to AliExpress or Amazon or anything else. You can get like a 5-pack of the ferro rods. I'm sure Greg can pitch in here on this one too. But rather than just getting like a really expensive one on the back of a knife, you get like a 5 or 10 pack, and they're only like $2 or $3 sometimes if they're on sale.
Yeah, so I think the ones that I made, I can't remember how much they were, but I also, actually right here, I ordered these little strikers that have a little ruler, can opener,
Yep.
striker. It's got a 90-degree on it.
there's the can opener.
Yeah, 39.40. Yep.
But then I got like I don't even remember what wood I used, but I just sectioned it off, found the right drill bit, drilled a hole down in it. I think on the first couple I did, I just used a 2-part epoxy from Harbor Freight because it's a quick setting and it lets me go ahead, shape it on a belt grinder, and they've worked really well. Last time I went camping, I went ahead and tried it. Did really well with I used the striker and the knife. So I liked it. So pretty good. I just got that off Amazon.
Nice. Cool. And then wouldn't be a prepper stocking without a compass or 2 or 5.
And not the cheap
Why not?
ones.
No,
That's one thing you just can't cheap out on, right?
No,
it's true. You want something good.
get the fancy compass. It's got the mirror on it. You can set declination needs to be able to be set on it. Like, yeah.
Well, I just found that like the 5 for $1 ones from AliExpress are just absolute trash. They do not work at all. And all the ones on the top of the old whistles from the Coughlin section and stuff, they just do not work. So you got to get a proper compass, like one that's actually got like you mentioned, like the aiming wire and the mirror and the whole works, and the bezel that flicks around and stuff. You need everything. So
Survival Medicine Handbook by Joe and Amy Alton. We've had them on the show a few times. Great book, still around. It's on its 4th edition now, I think. So a good one to put under the tree.
If you really like someone, just buy them the bag.
There you go.
The bag.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear the bag they have? They have like their go-to medical bag.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Okay.
No, they ship to Canada. It's not cheap.
Oh, yeah, they do.
But they ship to Canada, but like it's pricey. But it's pretty much like a full-blown trauma, deliver a baby, like the whole shebang.
Yeah, you name it,
ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in there. It's
they've
not
got
cheap,
some really nice medical kits.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it is on my like to buy list when I've got like money to spare, which with the cost of inflation is probably not going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, it is. But you buy them the book, way cheaper. Way cheaper.
Yep. And then I know everybody was waiting for me to say this. It's going to be a shock. I don't think anybody's seen this coming on my list, but ham radios and or antennas. Weird, I know, right? But
is it legal to to buy a ham radio stuff and give it to a person that doesn't have a ham license?
It's completely legal.
In the States. In Canada, it is not.
Really?
Oh, it isn't? Okay.
You could probably give it to them, but they can't use it. So
that's what I was thinking.
They can't use it.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, like I'm not, but there's that fine line where I'm like, what do you?
Because I know, like, so I don't know how it is in Canada, but I know for ham radios here in the States, in an absolute emergency to where if you don't have cell service, it's like, really, really bad. You do not need a ham radio license to operate in a like life or death emergency.
Yep, that's the same here. It's if you happen to find yourself in a really shitty situation and you need to get help, whatever mode of communication you got to use to make that happen, you make it happen. In a moment where that is not the situation, I believe it's Section 4 of the Radio Communications Act in Canada. You can't actually possess a transceiver that's capable of transmitting on frequencies you're not licensed for. Okay. So it's one of those oddball legislative things that most people don't know about. I'm just weird that way.
Well, first of all, nobody checks first off.
No.
I mean, but was it always like that? Because I thought that was a recent change.
No, it's always been like that.
Okay. Well,
it's just something that's buried.
Good thing I was licensed before I got my first one. So
that is good.
But I was going to say, like Greg says, let's be honest. If it's that really, really bad situation, are they going to come looking for you because you happen to broadcast on the ham radio?
No.
No.
Well, they gotta come get you
Right.
because you made an emergency thing. They'll get you first aid and everything, and then
But I
charge
tell you right now, before they got there, I lost that ham radio in a tragic boating accident.
It was weird.
There,
Yeah, just as you
there is
showed
total
up.
exemption. There's total exemption for emergency situations. So-
Actually, not a. Actually, it was today or yesterday. Not a Rubicon. He put out a video on emergency ham radio use. And basically, it was 6 minutes of pure entertainment, but it boiled down to read the frickin' manual before you start relying on an emergency. So at the very least, learn how to use it. So
hold on.
yeah, test your
That's
gear. I know
crazy
that.
talk. Crazy talk. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're gonna give one as a gift, make sure you put the link to a couple good videos on the front of it before they
Yep.
do anything with
Not
it.
a Rubicon is
I
fantastic.
just text Eric in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I do actually. Yep.
But and more important, like you mentioned, so ham radios is one thing, and that's maybe nebulous to give as a gift. But even if they have one, or if they don't have one, you can always send them the antenna, like you mentioned. There's nothing wrong with giving them an upgradable antenna ahead of time or anything else. This is $20 item, but it makes a big difference on what the radio can do, right? So
Or if you don't want to go down the ham radio route, GMRS or
I
family
was
band
about to say
radios,
that.
right?
yeah,
Ah,
FRS.
Yep.
Yeah. Even FRS for a couple hikers, it can't hurt.
No,
You know,
not
you
at
know what
all.
I mean? So
Or for
it's
the
not-
kiddos, get them playing with radios.
might as well start to corrupt them early, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to get the kiddos either the really cool like Spider-Man ones or the Barbie ones. You can't give them like regular ones because they don't interact as well with them and they don't learn if it
As long
doesn't
as-
draw their attention.
As
You
long as you don't
believe me
assume
now,
your-
Ian? They're kid radios. I told you that was a kid radio.
as long as you don't assume their gender and don't give them the wrong radio, that's fine. You know. All right. Well, off to my list, I guess. Pretty much overlaps with Eric on quite a bit of stuff, but a hair straightener right off the bat. Why? Because fashion is
Mylar
important in the
bags.
apocalypse.
Mylar bags.
Oh, well, that too, I suppose. But I was going to say, you have to be fashionable in the apocalypse. I mean, even the fact I'd shave my head completely if it's a real apocalypse. But yeah, no, hair straightener, because most people, you know, like ourselves, would not know where to find one right off the bat. It's not something you really go to your way to find and spend money on, but it kind of gets them in the mood. It's like, now that I have a hair straightener, I might as well get some Mylar, and it's like a gateway drug, so to speak. So yeah, a hair straightener, spend the $30 on that, throw it in their stocking. One of the listeners actually mentioned it and beat me to it, but a silver coin. So right now the premium on silver coins is not pretty, but the price is ludicrously undervalued right now, and it's hovering on the, you know, depends on where you're looking, but you know, $30-$40 range. But it's the premium might pay, it could be a problem. But I mean, the very least, it's going to get somebody thinking about tangible assets, hard currency, what real money is. You know, preserving your wealth. It's all sorts of things to think about. Plus, it looks pretty too. But silver is way more undervalued than gold right now, so probably not a bad idea to grab one of those and throw it in somebody's stocking and just tell them that the deal is they can't spend it for 5 years, and hopefully they'll heed your advice and take it from there.
Okay,
But-
so can we put the silver coin from the dollar store that has chocolate in it?
Ooh, yes.
I would go with the gold ones on that one because people are going to gravitate towards the gold first, and then keep the silver at the bottom, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's just silver, you know, it's whatever."
I'm just saying it's a cheaper option.
Well, it is a cheaper option. You get a lot of them too, right? You get a bag of gold. You know,
And guess what? 3 years from now, when the collapse happens, if you've got 20 pieces of chocolate, don't matter if it's expired to a certain person.
Hello, morale
well,
booster.
well, seeing as that chocolate's probably 90% wax, it's going to be fine too. So it's going to be in good shape. It's going to be weatherproof, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Keep them in
why
your
not?
freezer until that time comes anyways.
To go with Eric's idea of other like nonfiction books, but some fiction books for entertainment purposes. Maybe if they're prepper related, well, you can kind of get the mindset going or whatever. It's kind of like handing out an unsolicited Bible or something. Just here you go. You might want to be interested in this or something, but might get people thinking about certain things. Reference manuals that are like maybe on the pricey side that somebody normally wouldn't buy for themselves because, you know, it's a big outlay or something, whether it be the survival medicine handbook or where there is no doctor or something like that. But, you know, they're not exactly easy to find, but if you had it handed to them, they're probably more likely to use it and read it. And I think that's the only thing I was going to mention. The go to Costco or not Costco, Cabela's, and get the go to the Coughlin's aisle there and look for all those like $1 to $5 items for the camping accessories, and whether it be the cheap can openers like Greg likes to talk about, or the, you know, the mini first aid kits or anything else. It's just I don't know. Anything helps, right? For a stocking stuffer.
So right here just came up. B. Richards says good gift survival playing cards.
Yep.
So in my bag, I actually keep just a regular set of playing cards just to keep myself busy and keep my mind working if, you know, I'm using that bag, obviously. So, but yeah, I know what he's talking about.
And Freya, actually, a good point with the vet wrap. I mean, most farm stores have it, and you can, if you spray an ankle, it's a lifesaver. It's nice because it only sticks to itself and not much else, and it's like super handy. And I actually prefer it to regular medical tape. And
100%.
Yeah, it
And
is.
They were dirt cheap on Amazon previously.
And
I
they
still
come-
got like 30 rolls, so I don't know if the prices have gone up or not, but yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, TSC down the States and Ontario, I think, still had it. And yeah, there's always a store around that has it for sure. It comes in cool colors, tactical green, black, red, whatever you want. And yeah, good stuff. What else we got? I think that's it for me.
All right, so I'm up. So first thing I want to, I got a list myself here. sfstrike1.com. This guy, I actually went through basic training with his son. Super knowledgeable guy. He is retired Marine Corps. Very outdoorsy, big bushcraft guy, survival guy. So his biggest thing is his ferro rods. Like we've talked a lot about those. He's come up with a pretty cool thing. He's got a Kydex sheath on it with the ferro rod inside it, and it's on tinder cord, 550 tinder cord. So you've always got a little piece of tinder right there with you, and it's got a built-in striker on the end of it, so you don't have to worry about, you know, using your knife, anything like that, because your sheath is literally your striker as well. And it also has a safety breakaway on the back. So, you know, if you're going through the woods, because you can wear it around your neck, it's not going to get caught. If it does, it's going to go ahead and pop loose. And he's also got the SF shovels. Anyone that doesn't know what SF is, Special Forces, they're sharpened on the edges. He said that when his dad first started making those, they would go out and throw them at trees and stick them into trees. So they are they're pretty kick-ass apparently. So I'm going to be getting both of those myself. Pretty excited about that. That will definitely be in my truck. So to kind of piggyback on what Mr. Eric said on the ham radio stuff, even if you don't know anything about ham radios, take the time and go out with your significant other and just go activate a park or a summit or anything like that. One thing you can't buy at the store is a little bit of effort. So, again, fire starters, ferro rods, everybody's talked on knives and everything. But one thing I've really liked doing so far here lately is knife scales. I don't have a forge, so me and my wife actually spend a lot of time together making our own knife scales and stuff like that. So I think I've got like 4 guys that are over on base that now want to make their own knives. That kind of introduces them to a new skill set as well. So backpacking stuff like rucks. I like I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But the Teton Sports, they have a huge selection. They're very affordable. So if it's somebody like kind of getting into it, you're not gonna break the bank on that.
Are you saying they're affordable in Canuck bucks?
I don't know. I can't speak for that, but here in Georgia, they're all right.
Okay.
Which means they're expensive here.
Yeah.
Got it.
Another thing is poncho, like the Helicon Tex, or you can even get the Surplus ones from the Marine Corps has the better ones, honestly. They are digital camo, but it's actually, not colored retarded.
Actually, Greg,
yeah.
where do you making your knife scales? Like, do you just use like say like a wool blanket and a bunch of epoxy, or how do you make your knife scales?
No, so I'm actually using strictly epoxy right now. The one that I just did for Pierre, I used an inlay. So the inlay is actually kind of coming through randomly in certain patterns that's a different color from the epoxy. But yeah, you can get actually I got the box right here. I think I got this one at Walmart. It's called the Lumalight. And it's laid really well. And if you get on Amazon, you can get literally a pack of 50, and it was like little pearl pigments like that.
Yeah,
it's not cocaine.
That'd be skanky looking cocaine.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's
probably PCP. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's literally mica powder. For all of you that don't really mess with painting cars or custom bikes or anything like that, mica powder is what we put on the clear coat to add a lot of pearl and essentially candy coat. So, but you can play around with that. I've had a blast. The first set I actually put in our group chat, I'm thrilled about, and I'm really excited to do that. I don't know what knife it's going on, but it's going on something. So, but also, back to my list, a whoopee, or a poncho liner. That is absolutely the best thing of my military career was my whoopee.
Not just for watching movies with either, right?
No. We get some crappy gear issued to us, but the whoopee is money.
What's it made out of?
I don't know. It's made out of whoopee. It's magical, and it's happiness rolled into an assault pack during a really horrible time and experience.
Well, because they sell Whoopee knockoffs, right?
Yeah.
Ever from Walmart onwards, and you got to wonder what if the polyester ones are going to be any like wool one or.
So they're not wool. They are that polyester, and they're designed to go and like tie off and attach to your poncho. And what that is, that's called a Ranger roll. Kind of keeps you dry. But who was it? It was Zero Foxtrot. Has a really nice one. We just got Jessica one of those, and I think I've got the grunt style one. Jessica got that one for me. It was on sale, and I want to say honestly, those two places, they were like $25 at the time. So they are phenomenal.
Like 75 Canadian?
432, I believe.
Okay.
But another thing that I've got on my list is classes. You can go pretty much anywhere locally. You've got teachers everywhere. You can go to a local fire department and find out about a stop the bleed class. Y'all had the what is it called? Hug-a-tree? Is that what y'all said it was called? I mean, just things you can do together,
They teach that course at the Brownies. I mean, sorry, don't want to offend anybody.
So I'm real big into like shopping local. That's just me. I feel like when you shop local, with like leather goods, knives, stuff like that, you're talking and you're helping design it for somebody, so it makes it a little bit more special. So I like to do the like leather journals and stuff like that. My mom, she gets me one every year. And if you do that for somebody, then those medical books, those plant books, stuff like that, obviously you don't need to know everything. If you live in Toronto, you don't need to know what's going to be down here in South Georgia. That's something that gives you the opportunity to, one, study what's in your area and make notes of it, how to identify it. You can add pictures, stuff like that. And it lets you, really kind of learn together and also learn about what's in your area and make your own stuff. And that's going to be time pretty well spent. Another thing is, I know Bass Pro and Cabela's does it. When I worked at Cabela's back in 2017, I believe it was, we had what was called just a wish list, and people's husbands would go on the website and make their wish list. And I worked the optics counter and ammo, and I'd always have a wife come in at Christmas time or during a holiday or for a birthday or something like that. They'd give me their husband's name, and I could literally punch it in and be like, all right, here's his wish list, and here's where everything is located. And nice. You can't screw that up. I mean, they're telling you what to get, and you pick something off that wish list, you're good to go. You can't go wrong there.
Yeah. Kind of like a bridal registry for preppers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how it is, in Canada, of course. But here in Georgia, Tennessee, anywhere in the South, you've always got somebody, making something out of leather. So to kind of piggyback off the journals, I'm going to say like a sling. You can kind of pick the different things you want put on there. The width, the kind of design of it. I've got one on that rifle hanging up, and that one's Jessica's. And after I got it, I was like, man, I need to get me one of those. I haven't done that yet. But, it wouldn't be a Canadian Prepper podcast episode unless I absolutely mentioned you can't go wrong with guns and ammo.
If you can find either one of them.
Yep. And this is the last episode you're going to see Greg on.
But so I do want to. But no, I do want to say, if you're buying your first gun, you're buying a gun for somebody. Buying a gun for somebody is completely illegal, technically. If you're trying to kind of like get it for them, but legally, which is what I recommend, you can also always do a layaway, and you can give them the ticket. That way they can go in, you can go with them. You hand them the ticket, and they go through the background check. So once they go through the background check, they're making that final payment and everything. Everything is legal.
Yeah, similar idea here. With just straw purchasing is a thing. So, but it's not really a common thing up in Canada. It hasn't really been one of those things that people get constantly busted for. But anyway,
yep,
it's pretty highly vetted up here. So anyway,
that's what I've got.
Jeff, what do you got?
I guess I'm up next. Yep. I've got flashlights. I actually did a inventory a couple weeks ago on all my flashlights and realized that I do not have a rechargeable flashlight. So every flashlight I had requires batteries, which means you have to carry those batteries with you. So number one on my list is to get my hands on a rechargeable flashlight, whether it's through USB or some way to charge it without having to carry around batteries all the time. Hand and foot warmers.
I was gonna say, with the flashlight there, I know there's a bunch of tiny ones. Obviously, you can get like the pocket-sized ones, but if you want a decent one for around the house usage or just outdoors, in the local area, those Canadian Tire ones that have the pistol grip and they're like a miniature spotlight. They're USB rechargeable. So if you have a power box with your solar panel and everything else, they last a long time, like at least a week of steady use before we have to recharge it. And man, they're bright, and it's a super focused beam. It'll go like a couple hundred yards, no problem, and still act as a decent spotlight. And I think
actually, I actually have one of those in my truck. I keep it in the truck all the time. It's rechargeable. I'm thinking more of something in the house or around the house, and but yeah, those I like you say, I've got one, and it works great and bright. It's got LEDs in it, and it is bright.
I got one by the back door for when we let the dogs out when the sun goes down, and it lights up the neighborhood almost. So yeah, they're fantastic.
I got one that I keep in my truck that I found at Harbor Freight. It was literally sitting right there at the checkout, and it just plugs into your cigarette lighter, and it was like $3. And I swear to God, I use that thing more than anything. It's like my go-to flashlight. I love it. I'm like $3. I'm super easy to please, I guess. I don't know.
Is it LED or is it halogen? Because I remember having an old halogen one like that.
Honestly, I can't remember, but I mean, it lights up my truck. I think it's LED. Yeah, it's LED.
Freya brings up a good point. Wind-up flashlights and Rods of God says headlamps, which Costco 2-pack of Duracell ones are great. They're super bright LED ones. Yeah, and then the solar lights that you can charge with the sun, and the weather radios that also work as headlights or flashlights.
And a shameless plug, if you want a whoops, got the wrong side there.
Like that's the back of the box.
If you want a crank up radio, Rapid Survival happens to have these Crusaders. They're a crank up. They have a solar panel on them. They're AM/FM weather band radios. You can charge your phone off them, whatever. I've got one. I keep one in. Actually, I think I've got two of them. I keep one in the house, and I've got one in my vehicle. So they happen to mention it. So there you go. That's what I've got.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got hand and foot warmers. Can't go wrong with those things. They do have an expiry date on them, so I usually buy a pack. I give one to my mom, I give one to my brother, and not that he travels that much and he's in Toronto, so they don't get really that much adverse weather, but better safe than sorry. Some way, water purification, whether it's tablets, a Life Straw, a Sawyer, Berkey, whatever, some way of water purification. A vehicle ham radio, not just the handheld one. I want to get one in my vehicle. That's on my list. It just hasn't happened financially yet, but I'll get there. And then the other thing I've got is some kind of a road safety kit. Throw in your vehicle, booster cables, a tow rope. You got your reflective triangles or warning lights.
Work gloves, like they all mentioned in the chat there.
Pardon?
Mm-hmm. Work gloves. To protect your hands.
Work gloves, anything. I think the one I've got just has. Actually, I don't have it. I gave it to my mom. It's got booster cables. It's got a tow rope. It's got the triangles. It may have gloves in it, and just you never know when. I mean, let's face it. If you're doing a lot of driving, chances are eventually you're going to end up on the side of the road. And Murphy's Law is you're going to end up on the side of the road in the crappiest weather. So, the warning lights of the triangles, whether people pay attention to them or not, is another story. But better to have them than not have them. So, that's basically my list that I had there. When I talk about a road safety kit, I mean I'm talking about more than just that. I'm throwing in, have some water, have some snacks, have that other kind of stuff. But
So on top of that, you're talking about like road safety kits and stuff like that. there's always those like pre-made med kits and stuff like that, which are phenomenal. But sometimes you get a lot of stuff that you may not need, and you can personalize them. I found a video earlier this weekend. I want to say it was like Prep Medic or Prepper Medic, something like that. And he made his own for, he was just putting one in his bag for like trail running, and then he just vacuum sealed it. And then he took a pair of scissors and like barely slit each side so you wouldn't have to cut it open. And he taped his trauma shears to the outside. That kind of lets you personalize it a little bit more for each application, kind of like, you know, truck or car, or, you know, in your bag, a day hike, something like that. That would be a good thing as well. But those little slits makes it to where you can just tear it right open. It's pretty cool.
And I mean, and Freya makes mention of it in the live chat there that, and I mean, I think we covered that a lot of it when we were talking about you change over from summer vehicle to winter vehicle and all that. But I have a plastic tote that's on the back seat of my truck, and I have a full change of clothes in there. I have extra boots, socks, believe it or not. Dry socks makes a world of difference. I've got a hat, gloves, mitts, you know, a change, basically a change of wardrobe if I get wet.
Yeah, I actually have the same thing with my little, I use the Christmas totes from Walmart whenever they, after season, you know, they're, you know, marked down and whatnot. And then I just got a piece of like thin rope that came with one of the little pop-up canopies that I got in the backyard. And I just tied a bowline in each end and then fed it through one of my anchor points for my ratchet straps, and then fed it through and put a carabiner on it so I could loop it back to itself. That way it wasn't like moving all around. If it slid to the back of the truck, and just grab that rope and pull it to me. So
there's a legit, really good idea. Thrifted gardening books make great gifts on the cheap. So if you go to the thrift store and pick up old gardening books, there's no shortage of those in the thrift store. I know that.
Yep. That's a good one.
And like I said earlier, gardening is going to be the way to save your life probably in a few years from now.
Yep.
You don't want to go on the Venezuela diet?
No.
Yeah, the average Venezuelan's down 30 pounds right now.
Wow.
I might need to get that.
Yeah. Yeah, not by choice. I'm just saying.
I can't afford to get that.
All right, we get it. You're thin.
Yeah. So I've got things here on, you know, depending on the person you want to get the preps for, make sure they're useful. If the person doesn't like going outside unless they do ham radio stuff, might not be the best to get him a bunch of camping supplies. But if it's a person, depending on the person, even being able to afford courses for them, whether it be a Stop the Bleed, ham radio license, any courses that they could benefit from, you know, if time is of the essence because of whatever, you know, getting them the course and then making some time to like make sure they're ahead of stuff so that they can fulfill the course or do whatever, whatever training you can think of, right? A lot of people have the time and everything, but may not have the funds, but the $150 for a course. So anything training, if your prepper friend is a ginger, you can get him a soul on wayfair.com.
We'll just take yours.
Yeah.
We'll just take yours.
To be fair, Pierre, I think you can only get small children on wayfair.com, hidden in cabinets. I don't think you can actually get just a straight soul.
It's technically still a soul. Right, but depending on the person, you know, if you've got an avid outdoorsman, I know Mel got a bunch of us some prepper cord or paracord, but I guess you could say it's the fancier one. On the inside, it's got an actual fishing line. It's got the fire starter one. Get it on Amazon. She also
Titan.
got me
It's Titan cord, is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the company that makes it.
oh well, this one's probably a knockoff or whatever. But she also bought me a small stove that fits it
Ooh.
something very, very small. So it folds out. It's got a base on the bottom. You can put wood in it, or put sternal cans. I've used it for bear hunting to get some molasses and brown sugar boiling. Anything book related for anything outdoors that you can keep yourself busy, whether it be survival books, anything on plants, herbalistic, anything like that. If you've got more of the ham radio guy, the finger light gloves. Have you guys seen those?
You mean like a mechanics gloves or something?
Similar to mechanics gloves, but like you put
You
them
like
on.
pinch them together and whatnot.
No, so they kind of fit weird on your hands, but on your thumb and your index, there's two lights. So as you're doing whatever, it literally lights up where your hands are compared to like having a headlight or whatever. Yeah, they're actually kind of cool. I don't know how durable they are or whatever. They're kind of cheap or whatever, but depending on your power's out and you got to go do something, or you got to find something, or you're doing renovations around your house, it gets light right where your fingertips are. If it's more of an indoor person, depending on your surroundings. So if the guy lives, downtown Toronto on the 20th floor of an apartment building, getting the person a water bob so they can fill up their bathtub. All that stuff. Supplies, obviously can openers, spare 9-volt batteries for his CO detector. Pretty much anything available on rapid survival for either or would be a good idea. But but key is get the sole for the ginger. That's always the go-to.
And when you're wrapping it, put it right next to the sunscreen.
Yes. Nope.
Oh, you mean like the 150 FPS? Yeah.
Mhm.
I literally have 3 bottles of sunscreen in my toolbox in my truck.
And that's just to change a tire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's how hard it is to be an avid outdoorsman and redheaded.
Yeah.
Doesn't make for a good time.
It's pretty simple as you don't got a soul, right?
Yeah. But it still hurts.
Yeah. But
I think I'm probably the only one that like opens up the door and he sees it's like storming outside and he's like,
yes,
what a beautiful day.
But so my big thing is, small little things, and the more training, having a bunch of stuff is nice to have, but if you don't know how to use any of it, it's kind of useless. Pay for someone to get their first aid and CPR course. You can go a very long way compared to $1,000 worth of supplies if you don't know how to use it.
Yeah, at the very least with those first aid courses, at the very end when you're doing your practical stuff, and they got they put a little time pressure on you, or they want you to perform, I guess with people watching, and I guess more real world situations, they're still going to help you a little bit when the real stuff comes up, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny when you're doing the small stuff, you don't realize how much you've actually done because you're not tackling the big thing. You're doing a little here, a little there, little, and all of a sudden you step back and you look at it, and it is the whole big thing that you've done, and you don't really think you've done it.
Yep.
Yeah. So and I think I screwed up the wording or whatever, but in the notes, but just helping someone get to that next little step of their goals, whether it be with something, a course or whatever, right? Just everybody helping themselves progress through everything can make just helps everybody. Hopefully they don't forget about it when that time comes and the thing you paid for, you need help with.
That's fair.
And ham radio.
Well, no, not just that, right? But I mean, but even taking the time, like I'm way more mechanical than renovations in a house. I can pretty much strip the motor apart and put it back together. But taking the time to just show someone how to do an oil change, right? A lot of people get nervous to ask for help. Just be like, come on over, help you do maintenance on your stuff, and then vice versa. So trading, small training little things like, hey, this is how you put drywall up, or this is how you fix some framing or a door frame or whatever. But doing that stuff can make a world of difference in a scenario, and slowly push that forward into being more useful
Yeah,
and less dependent.
That's kind of the whole know your mag, know what your people are, and know what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are, and what you can give to what somebody else can provide, and
And that's the stuff that costs you next to nothing to see if you want to get someone in your Mac.
Yep,
That's a good
absolutely.
point.
Right? Like not so much a person you've known for 10 years or whatever, but like someone new, and you're like, hey, I can help you out with your car. You want to learn? Like, what do you know? Kind of dabble in that. That's an easy way into.
Well, to vet them, yeah. Because I mean, if they're not even willing to take a course or learn how to do something like that, then it's probably not going to be worth your time, right?
Yeah,
It's true.
So.
Right. I think that's the list. Anybody have any last second contributions?
Let's see here. Minor surgery kit from Freya.
Yep.
That's what it.
Getting a little intense now.
Yeah, that's getting to be big Christmas gift, especially if they don't know how to use it. But
Or suture practice kits from B. Richards. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think you can grab those on Amazon, right?
yeah, a little fake skin you can sit there and stitch with.
That's on my to-buy list for sure.
Cool. Well, with that, let's move into the podcast challenge. So your podcast challenge for episode 184 is send a gift to each of the panelists.
only the ones on this show.
That's right.
The ones that showed up.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Or
in reality, find a Black Friday deal that's going to help enhance your preps in some way, shape, or form. Tons and tons of deals out there right now, so I'm sure you can find something.
yeah, Black Friday is coming up the 25th here, and I guess even like a lot of stores are starting to advertise their sales that don't go live until the 25th, but at least you can shop around now and see where the best deal is, so you can at 25th at midnight 01,
and actually
grab them.
Yeah, and I was going to say, actually, there's a lot of them that have their pre-Black Friday sales that are on now, and the deals are just as good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So upcoming events. I see you've got a whole list here, Ian, and I've got one.
All right. So there's a theme here. So
No.
yeah, believe it or not, the reason I'm doing this is because gun shows for the uninitiated, I guess, are not just about guns. There's usually like a lot of good everything from pocket knives to camping gear to accessories to whatever, even old swords if that's what you're into. I mean, whatever. But there's usually some neat deals to be found, including reloading bits and everything else. So yeah, I got 4 gun shows here listed with the websites, and check one out if it's the local area, because there's actually the same website. It's gunshowtrader.com. And they list all the gun shows going on in Canada on a monthly basis, which is kind of cool. So December 3rd and 4th, the Edmonton gun show is going on in actually Stony Plain, which is close to my old stomping grounds. That's usually a big 2-day gun show. There's December 4th in Orangeville, December 9th in Niagara, and December 11th in Hamilton. But there's more than that. Just check out the gunshowtrader.com. And who knows? You might see a podcast panelist or meet some like-minded people or whatever. It's usually a good place to start. So if you want to get out and about, it's Christmas shopping time. Why not?
So since most of those are in the GTA, does that mean they'll meet Ian or Aunt Alan?
I'll have to dress up as Alan that time. It's just easier. It makes more sense that way, right?
So you're going to have to get your stilts out then, right?
Yep.
So gotta break out my extra Shrek outfit and kind of slip on that and put on the stilts on the shoes and the whole works, and that's okay.
All right, so I've got I know, again, shocking, a ham radio nerd event going on. So between November the 26th and December the 24th, if you are a licensed ham operator, you can make contact with Santa Claus. So get the kids involved. It runs on 3.1 or 3.916 megahertz. If you check out cqsanta.com, all the details are there. So it's basically a big HF net that runs throughout the evening, and they've got volunteers that make the contact happen between the kiddos and Santa Claus. So it's just a little bit of a fun radio event that goes on every year. I think they're in their 10th or 11th year or something around there. So
I'm kind of curious
what kind of mobile.
I wonder what kind of mobile HF rig he's got in his sleigh. It'd be kind of neat.
It'd be kind of neat to know. Yeah. You could ask him on the 24th. He'll be traveling.
Maybe he has a gasifier.
Probably does.
How does he keep warm in the sleigh, right? Like, come on,
Well, not only that, but animal cruelty and all that stuff,
Does
Gonna
he
have
have a
Gasifier.
CO detector in the sleigh, though? That's the question.
So now curious. So if you can somehow get on the frequency of ham radio, but you don't transmit, it technically would be legal to listen, right?
No,
If
you
you had
technically-
if you had a piece of equipment that's receive only like a scanner and it could receive those frequencies, then yes. But if it's a ham radio,
it's now a transceiver.
it's now a transceiver. It's a problem. But you can still get a scanner from, well, maybe the source still has them. I don't know, somewhere. Who really sells scanners anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, they're around.
Mm.
Or you could get like a shortwave radio or something. But there's options out there. Or, like I said, it's quite the obscure legislation that I talked about earlier. So you can buy a ham radio from Radio World. They're not checking to see if you're licensed or anything. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a weather blurb from Jeff.
So Ian had brought it up earlier about the snow squalls in Ontario. We certainly got snow. We didn't get anything nearly what they got in Western New York, specifically the Buffalo and surrounding area. They were hit with about a 3-day snow squall. There were several travel bans put in place as the roads quickly became impassable, but that didn't stop these idiots from driving. I was watching one of the Buffalo news stations, and they interviewed this lady who, nothing against the female, but they interviewed this lady who was stuck in the ditch, and she said that she had been driving around trying to find formula for her child, and had gotten stuck. Well, first of all, and of course, she was complaining because a bunch of the stores were closed. Duh. And you knew the snow was coming. Why were you not prepared? And then, of course, like a lot of people do, her last complaint was, I don't know where the first responders are to come and rescue me. Well, that's not their job to come and rescue stupidity. So yes, I said that.
Yeah, the tow truck had a 15-car wait list. And it's like, no shit.
Yeah. So it was a news crew that had come across her, and they kind of helped to dig her out, and I don't know what happened from there. But anyways, they got hammered. Orchard Park, New York, which is where actually the Buffalo Bills have their stadium. They recorded 77 inches of snow in a 48-hour period. So,
we're talking internet inches or like real inches?
That is real inches, buddy. So in
if it was internet inches, they'd be screwed.
In Canadian terms, that was about 195 centimeters, which is about 6.5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I know Alan mentioned on one of our chats that's how tall he is, and Ian's about 65 centimeters. So we'll
something like that,
kind of cut it off in the middle. One of the small towns east of Watertown, New York. So Buffalo's kind of at the west end of Lake Erie, so they catch the fetch and that off of Lake Erie. Watertown, New York's on the east end of Lake Ontario, and one of the small towns just outside of Watertown called Natural Bridge, they got 72 inches. So again, they're pushing 6 feet of snow. So far, there's only been 2 deaths reported, and they were both from cardiac-related incidences of people shoveling snow. For those who may remember, there was the storm of 2014, which was very similar in nature to this. The beauty of this storm, if there is one, is that it's not expected to be a fast rise in temperature. Back in 2014, they got 5.5 feet of snow, and 3 days later it was 65 degrees, which caused numerous roof collapses from the weight of the wet snow. Back in 2014, 8 people died in their houses when the roofs collapsed. So, it's just, it's don't be scared, be prepared. There's no reason if, like that lady that was out there looking for formula the day after the storm, you should have been prepared for that. You should have been able, as we all say, when Eric says it in his preamble, to be able to hunker down and stay in your house for 72 hours and have everything you're going to need to be able to go. You know your kid needs food or needs formula. You're running low, stock up. What's, you know, I'm just kind of at a loss of that. And, you know, so
especially it's just easier.
Anyways, that's my rant.
Yeah. I hear you.
All right, what do we got for deal of the week?
All right, so starting, I believe, tomorrow, Cabela's has a 40% off sale for their
Ooh.
tomahawks, machetes, throwing knives, S-wing, and Fiskars, axes, everything that, you know, kind of like close range melee weapons.
Still legal?
Still legal and incredibly discounted, especially the Fiskars, you know, guaranteed for life type of thing. So
Sounds like great stocking stuffer.
yes, it does. So 40% off. I will throw the link right in the show or right in the chat as well. But yeah,
Awesome.
they're advertising it already, so that's saying something. So keep an eye on that.
Awesome. All right, let's move in the shout outs.
All right, I got one for listener Mirko. So hope to hear back soon. But he's a local guy, and I just got a message from him. So yeah, we'll hopefully meet up for a chat sometime.
Awesome. I got a quick shout out to the last couple of people that have put in orders on the CPP website for shirts and or patches. The shop stopped emailing me about the end of October, notifying me of any new orders. So I think it was 3 or 4 of you that had orders in that have been sitting for a couple of weeks. I apologize for them sitting. I had no idea they were there. I happened to log in to just check things out and do some software updates and stuff and went, uh-oh. So those are all going out Monday. But just a quick shout out to everybody that's been kind of sitting in the queue waiting. A little bit of a technical oopsie there, but it's been corrected.
Do I have a show for you?
Ah. All right. Email, iTunes reviews. Nothing there. So with
unless you want to optimize your search engine optimization or you know, have somebody, you know, improve your website for you. Because we got a bunch of those emails, but
we did, yes. We got a bunch of spam emails, yeah. Yeah. But you know.
Oh yeah.
We just decided to delete those. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I will bring episode number 184 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast to an end. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or of course your favorite podcast app. Please help us out, submit a review. It helps other people find us, and it gives us something to read in the section above.
We record these shows live on Facebook and YouTube. If you want an early peek at the show, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notification tab. That gives you alerts when we're going live. You can contact me at crossrifleranch@gmail.com.
And if anybody's looking for me, you can email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca, or I am frequently on the Discord.
You can find me at Off the Wall Customizing. I think we're on Tickety Talk and a few other things for that. I'm occasionally on the Discord, not as much as I would like, for the Prepper. And you can find me on the other CPP on Monday nights, where we get a little more spicy.
Awesome.
Is that possible?
Oh, easily. Yeah. Well, I just did a lot of hand motions. I didn't actually swear tonight, so it's good.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was
impressive.
like, I didn't even say bad words tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You can reach Ian directly by emailing me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. And you can also find me with Pierre on Canadian Patriot Podcast as well, starting, I guess, tomorrow night. I should be back on that show. Because I'm not cool enough for Discord anymore, I am on the Gilded app for the OG CPP. Email if you want an invite. There you can find us discussing why government waste in society makes me go old school and decide to celebrate winter solstice instead.
We could probably get you back on the Discord. You might know a few people.
Well, do you know the man that banned me or something? I don't know.
No, we've got an episode. You missed it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all
you missed
Cybersoft. We're
Yeah.
good. We're good.
Okay.
All right. Please check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com. You can get me there on the live chat while buying some stuff for stockings. You can also email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. Thanks for joining us this evening. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe,
And keep learning.